We're going to talk about how to get in great shape. It's your boy, Coach K, and I'm back with another banger, giving you information, also showing you my current physique. Every time I jump on live, if you see me with no shirt on, I try to get people to understand I am a coach that practices what I preach. I'm not just out here giving you information or giving you tools that I don't personally utilize within my life and lifestyle. You get what I mean? I want to educate everybody about the right way to get in great shape. No gimmicks, no cut cards, no bullshit. This is things that you can start implementing right now, regardless as to what fitness level you're currently at. If you have any questions about anything that we go over, do me a favor, drop your questions below. As you can see, for the YouTube, we've been consistent. Facebook, I'm new to this. I ain't been on here too much with you. Generally, I do go live on YouTube and Instagram. I'm starting to integrate a lot of this into my program once again because it's downtime for me when it comes down to landscaping. Once landscaping picks back up, you ain't really gonna see me on the internet like that. So I'm just giving you a heads up of how I'm moving. I'm just here to share pieces of my journey to educate those on how to get in great shape. I'm 35 years of age. So at this point, a lot of my content is tailored for 35 and up. I want you to understand, for starts, for all my people that's 35 and up, you feel the way you feel based upon how you've been treating the body and maintaining the body. Do understand that. Same goes for how you're going to feel in your 40s. Same goes for how you're going to feel in your 50s, and so on and so forth. As we age, how we feel is relevant to what we do and how we take care of our bodies at the end of the day. So if you feel like that means you've been treating your body like you get the point. You get where I'm going? But once again, I'm here for educational purposes to really point you in all the right directions to make sure we doing things the right way. First of all, to build my type of physique, I want to be 100% clear. You do not need supplements. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. You don't need protein shakes. You don't need creatine. You don't need pre-workout. Whoever is selling you that is trying to get a check. Or it's just a situation they don't know how to get in great shape without those things. Me personally, I've been doing this for a very, 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 very long time. I am not new to this. I'm true to this. Check my resume. I've been online for a while. I'm just starting to take YouTube a little bit serious because they keep telling me money on it. They keep telling me it's not a lot of money on all these other platforms, but it's some paper on YouTube. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tap in on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So do understand one thing we need to be doing every time in order to get in great shape. And my biggest philosophy is you need to stay active. It's not about what protein shakes you chugging. It's not about what protein bars you consuming. It's not about what creatine you taking. I'm just telling you right now, I've been able to do it without it. You don't necessarily need it. Am I saying these things don't work? That's not what I'm saying. You can use those things and get benefits from them. I've tried some of them before. I'm not big on creatine. Only time I honestly took creatine was when it was in a pre-workout called Lit is AF, and I personally didn't even know the creatine was in it. I'm gonna keep it real with you. And then when I read it, I was like, oh snap, it's something that's in here. I didn't realize. Not saying once again, creatine is a bad thing. I'm just saying, me personally, I've never been a big personal fan. When it comes down to it, a lot of what I took when I did take supplements was BCAAs, was one I incorporated. GNC was the only one that I've tried personally because I love the flavors at the end of the day. Then going from there was pre-workouts. I used to take pre-workouts. I cycle on and off for pre-workouts, by the way. And then going from there, I used to take energy drinks. It wasn't until I experienced my car accident a couple years ago at this point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to be 100% because of my experience with this. I think I'm going to stay away from caffeine altogether. And since that car accident 2 years ago, me personally, I don't indulge in any type of caffeinated beverages whatsoever. No sodas, no coffees, no teas, none of that. Everything I do over here is decaffeinated. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not losing energy. I don't feel tired all day. I don't feel sluggish all day. I don't do any of that. So I want you to understand you can still, one, get in great shape without all the extra. And then two, I want you to understand that you can still have energy if you consume the right foods and you work out on a regular basis. Do understand once we implement things that are going to be a little bit tougher into our program, we may need a little bit more rest. So if it's a point that you turning up the volume, you're doing more reps. If it's a point that you lifting more weight, there might be a scenario where you might need to turn up your nutrition and you might need to take a little bit more time and rest a little bit more. This is when we gonna need that 8 hours of sleep. Shit, if you gotta push towards 9 and 10, it ain't gonna do nothing but make you stronger. It ain't gonna do nothing but make you that much more efficient and not just your workouts, but your life and lifestyle. Very important. Another thing that a lot of people miss out on when they lagging on energy, and let's keep it real, is you're not consuming enough vegetables. A lot of us don't want to have this conversation, but I've been looking at a lot of my clients throughout the years, and I've noticed there's one thing that's lack thereof. When we think about fitness, we always love to talk about protein, but we don't talk about vegetables. Consume more vegetables. And I'm not just talking about some damn romaine salad, lettuce that's on your salad. I'm talking about actually start incorporating vegetables, eggplants, zucchini, just a few, carrots, onions, red peppers. There's a variety of colors. Go through all the colors: green, yellow, orange. You know what I'm saying? Red. Use all of them. Add vegetables into your daily intake. I can't stress this enough. Another baseline I want you to understand, some of the basics, is that supplements should only be consistent with lack thereof of your daily intake. Supplement is not necessarily something that should be used as a cheat code to accelerate the process. The purpose of a supplement is to supplement it. The whole point of a protein shake is for those who aren't consuming enough protein to add it to their diet. You get where I'm going? So I don't want you to get caught in the idea of abusing these things. And then sometimes we don't even understand the risks associated with taking these things. Because I do feel like a lot of us get caught in seeing someone else's physique and then think that we should be doing what they do. But in actuality, we should be focused on ourselves. You're not training like an athlete. You shouldn't be working out like an athlete sometimes. If you can work out like an athlete and actually handle it, that's a different. But for my beginners that think that they're going to use Patrick Mahomes' workout to get back in shape, it might be a little too much for you. I want you to do things that you can be realistic with. I want you to do things that you can stay consistent with when it comes down to fitness. So I did want to break down some of the basics. Every time I jump on live, like I said, I've been a certified personal trainer for a long time. But when it comes down to the content that I show you and present to you, I always look at myself as my first client. So I'm going to give you feedback in regards to what I'm doing to build my physique and maintain my physique. You get what I'm going? And like I said, when I jump on live and I'm going no shirt, it's just to show you my current physique so you can understand that I'm not just making shit up as I go along. You know what I mean? I don't take no type of sports enhancements, anything to that nature. All we've been doing for years is putting in the work. That's it. That's all we've been doing for years is putting in the work. And my biggest thing is you understand the work that you need to put in. It's going to be so much easier for you to be able to achieve the physique that you want, as well as maintain the physique that you want. I think that's something that's very important. I want you to make sure when it comes down to the tools that you're utilizing in order to get in great shape, it's something that we can actually maintain. It's manageable. It's not just you doing it, you kind of get in shape, and then the routine is so tough that you just can't keep up with it. We want to do things that we can consistently do on a regular basis. Not saying that things within your program are not going to switch up, but I want you to understand there should be a lot of what you do should be very manageable. You know what I'm saying? So do me a favor, drop your questions as we go along because I'm going to go over a lot of stuff. Like I said, if you want something specifically for you, at the end of the day, do understand, like I said, just drop the question and I'll answer your question. First, I want to break down this. I think this is a very simple concept that a lot of people let go over their heads when it comes down to building definition and tone. I'm going to show you this right here. This right here is 5 pounds of fat. It's 5 pounds of fat. This right here is 5 pounds of muscle. However you weigh these on the scale, 5 pounds is 5 pounds. So I do want us to understand this. This is 5 pounds of fat. I'm going to say that again. And this is 5 pounds of muscle. We're not converting this into anything but energy. We're expensing our fat into energy. This isn't converted into muscle or anything crazy like that. All we can do is expense this into energy. So this is why movement is always going to be very important. What most people don't realize is they have a lot of this. You have this. Don't get it twisted. You got muscle because everybody at the end of the day already has a six-pack. The only thing that may be covering that six-pack is the body fat percentage. So that 5 pounds of body fat is what's covering up all that muscle, and that's why you can't see the definition. You can't see the arms. You can't see the striation on the shoulders. You can't see the six-pack because you got too much of this in the way. So what you need to do, once again, is expense that body fat percentage into energy. That's another reason why I say it's very important to move. Don't get too caught in what you're doing as far as movement yet if your biggest issue is you have been sedentary. You need to move. You need to hit the weights. You need to do cardio. I always say if you want to accelerate the process of you getting in great shape, you need to combine both. You need to combine both of them. You need to be doing resistance training and you need to be doing cardio. There's no one of this, one of that. You need to be doing both. How much of what is going to be relative to consumption and what your body can handle. I've had clients that tried to do 2 of these. 5 days a week, they tried to do a total of 8 workouts. Their body only lasted 2 weeks. This is where conditioning comes into play. You need to build conditioning. So for example, if you're one of my new clients, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assess the body. We need to find out what's the body's strength and weaknesses. Is your back weak, but your chest strong? Is your chest strong, but your back weak? Are your hamstrings weak, but your quad strong? All of these things are going to dictate what we should do next as far as exercise selection to properly strengthen the body. Let's not overcomplicate these things. For those who are experiencing knee pains, lower back pains, some of these things may be due to lack of strength. You don't realize the more sedentary you are, guess what? The weaker the body becomes. That's why a lot of people's glutes are weak. Lower back is weak. It's because you're very sedentary and not realize this. Poor ankle mobility. Some of these things are giving you these pains and these aches that you're experiencing on a regular basis. So I need you to understand, not just factoring in us wanting to lose the body fat, we need to understand one thing. We need to understand that we need to consistently incorporate movement into our life and lifestyle. We need to consistently incorporate movement. So remember, the movement is going to allow us to start doing what? Start dropping this body fat percentage. I don't believe in stubborn belly fat. The reason why I'm stubborn is because you've been stubborn towards letting these habits you should let go. You haven't fully committed to what you need to do in order to lose this so-called stubborn belly fat. Whether that be the inactivity that you've been inactive, whether that be you changing up your nutrition, whether that be a point you going to the gym 3 to 5 days a week. I always say bare minimum 3 days a week. You need to be going at least 5 days a week. Very important. Remember, drop your questions about anything, any questions you have as we go along everything. But I need you to understand movement is going to be key. When it comes down to what type of movement, this may be relative to what type of physique you want to build. If you're someone who's trying to build a physique that you've never built before, do me a favor and hire a professional like myself that knows what they're doing. Do not try to wing it, because my biggest thing is sometimes winging it and you trying to collect a lot of information from different sources, you may come to a point where you don't know how to implement this information correctly, because they may be saying different things because the objective is different. I want to be very clear with that. There's so many different types of ways to get in shape. There's no one thing to do to get in shape, but it's a collective of these things that we're talking about that you're going to have to do on a consistent basis in order to get in great shape. And like I said, so that when a hiccup comes, you don't get frustrated, you don't feel burnt out, you don't cause any additional unnecessary stress to the body and mind. Hire a professional that knows what they're doing. Please. It's a lot of misinformation on social media. And if you don't know how to filter the correct information from the wrong information, then guess what? We can be leading ourselves to injury. We can be leading ourselves to a plateau. We can be leading ourselves to no results. So do me a favor and understand how to source for the right information. I'm always going to break everything down to the basics so that you can understand what to do. I'm always going to show you what I'm doing so maybe you can incorporate some of those things and start getting great results. One thing I love to live and die for, I told you earlier in the live, in order to get in great shape, is focus on moving, focus on being active. Another reason why one of my top rules is get 10,000 steps in a day. Try your best to get it done. See if you can get 10,000 steps. For those who are getting 10,000 steps in, do me a favor, clap it up. Give yourself a pat on the back, because you don't realize how active you are getting those 10,000 steps in a day. Another recommendation I always recommend for those who be like, oh, D, I want to build a chest like you. D, I want to build an arms like you. I want decent shoulders like you. What should I do? You need to be working out 5 days a week. You need to be working out 5 days a week until your body needs a rest. I'm big on this. The more consistent you are with it, the easier it is for you to get the results you're looking for. I don't want you to try to get the best results from little to no time when it comes down to investing the time you need to build the physique. If it's by some chance you've been struggling with nutrition, even more of a reason why we need to be working out 5 days a week. Like I said, with this 5 days a week, we do 3 days of resistance training. We do 2 days of cardio. I just posted on social media what I've been doing for the past 3 weeks. Pickleball at least 3 times a week. Basketball at least 3 times a week. We're resistance training at least 3 to 4 times a week. Sometimes my resistance training has been 5 days out of the week. We're making sure we have at least 1 full rest day. And this can be an active rest day. Active rest day for me, can you be just doing an activity? Playing basketball, playing pickleball. An active rest day, can you be making sure you knock out these 15,000 steps today, because today is your cardio day. We need to understand these things in order to get in great shape. But with that